ticket, we're both wearing masks, on brand for 2020. This is a parking lot in Wilmington, Delaware, but please note that throughout this crisis, sometimes with little thanks to our government, the public has figured out public health. The producers of this event had to go first. It's the Republicans who get last licks this year. So they had to figure all this out. They had to figure out Zoom. They had to figure out the roll call of states, and they have gone and figured out fireworks over a parking lot in Wilmington, Delaware, an outdoor stage, and a drive-up celebration with people at a distance in their cars, honking their horns. And I got to tell you, this works.
Yeah, this is, I mean, we're used to seeing balloons drop from nets in a ceiling. This is better.
Yeah,
this is better than that. And getting them outside is, A, responsible, and B, this kind of feels like this ought to be the way they do it.
Yeah. There's a lot about conventions, I think, that's going to change permanently after this year, right? I can't imagine it going back inside some sort of stale arena. Like, this is the way to do it.
Also, we have to have Braden Harrington speak at every convention from here on out.
Yeah.
A 13-year-old kid from New Hampshire who spoke about his stutter and his interactions with Biden. I, had to lay down on the floor with the saga. I mean, I kind of cried and everything. I had to physically accommodate the racking sobs in my body from listening and being so inspired by that kid, Braden. I mean, I know these things are programmed in a way that are meant to move us, but
But you know what? It also set up Biden for success, because you know he also has a stutter.
Yeah.
And so as he was speaking, I'm kind of holding my breath for him because I know he also stutters. Mm-hmm. And after he got through the entire speech and he did it so well, you felt a pride in him being able to do it the way you felt for little Braden. And so I think having that little touch was
and having it real close right before his speech.
so close.
And Brian, I think it's fair to say that Donald Trump probably said more mean things on Twitter tonight than any Oppo research person could find Joe Biden to have said in his whole life. And I think that, you know, every person that was featured over the last 4 nights, they weren't people Joe Biden ran into in the context of knowing he would be here tonight as his party's nominee. Mm. His life, the life he's lived, was on display this week. And when you're Joe Biden's age and you find yourself in this spot this night, you can't go back and airbrush anything. Yeah. What was revealed to the country is what it is. And it is diametrically opposed. It is on another freaking universe from what is on the menu in the other category. And again, I don't know what people will choose. I didn't think they would choose the last guy last time, but this presentation of this man who lost his wife and his daughter, and then later when he had it all, lost his adult son, this is who he is. And we are a country right now that is racked with the pain of 171,000 worlds blown up. People that were alive 5 months ago, they're now gone because of this pandemic, and it did not have to be that way. We didn't have to be the country with 171,000 worlds blown up on Donald Trump's watch, but we are.
Yeah. And when he said just
Nicolle,
plainly, we will never have our lives back until. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm just going to punctuate this. And when he said we will never have our lives back until we deal with this virus.
That's right.
Right, like why can't somebody from the top say that more plainly? Like all of the fights that we're having about schools and all the fights we're having about testing and who's to blame, and in terms of accommodating, in terms of reopening, in terms of the way we live and the futures that we're offering to our families right now, it is all about getting the virus under control, and then we can do what we need
the refusal to accept it.
And for Biden to say it so clearly in a short, direct sentence,
absolutely,
that fits on a freaking bumper sticker. Yeah. It just feels like, exhale. I'm sorry, Brian.
I'm going to do it. I will get this under control.
We will get it under control.
Yeah.
No, Rachel, forgive me. I was just going to ask Nicolle, who has worked in the other team's locker room, if you had to sit down and produce, and let's guess that all weekend long they will be making changes to the next convention. We learned tonight Mitch McConnell won't be speaking at the Republican convention. He has travel plans in Kentucky, where he happens to be running for re-election. What do you do? What do you run on? Who do you feature?
Well, the Republican Party, especially Republicans in Congress, are still, zombies marching in lockstep. I'm sure you can trot out every one of them that kept their mouths shut when he wrapped both arms around QAnon or Quinine, whatever the conspiracy nuts are this week. He repelled a couple of them, but not many, and they're the same zombie Republicans that marched in lockstep after Charlottesville and after Access Hollywood. They're still with him, Brian. So you can trot out the same Republicans that have looked the other way or said nothing. When Jim Mattis rebuked him after Lafayette Square, when General Milley rebuked him for his role and participation there will be bodies there. But what are they going to say? I mean, what is the case for Donald Trump? This is the best we can do, America. 171,000 people dead from COVID, 5 million infections, and they're still in some places an 8-day turnaround for tests. But let's go back to school anyway. I mean, what is the case? The economy annihilated, not because of the pandemic, but because of Donald Trump's response to the pandemic. And what are they going to say about the other guy after what they've just seen? Because they can't say he's hiding in his basement. And if he was, maybe Trump should try it. I mean, if you saw that speech tonight, I don't know what the case is that you make for Trump and against this ticket.
Way to pretend you don't know how to pronounce QAnon.
I was in my prompter for the first time in my life yesterday, and I said Quinine.
Did you say Quinine?
I said Quinine. And I have made it this far in the Trump presidency without it being written in the teleprompter, and it looks like Quinine, but it is QAnon.
And it's in Congress. It's about to be in Congress. I mean, they're going to be like maybe a dozen of them.
This all makes me want quinine in a gin and tonic.
I knew we were headed there. The minute those words left my lips, I knew.
None of us should be able to pronounce QAnon. We shouldn't even be talking about QAnon at 11:28 on the last night of the Democratic Convention, but you know where we are, because Donald Trump likes that they like him. That's
It
where we
should be
are.
Friday night, and it's not. But our thanks.
It might be over here.
You can finish, Rachel.
It might have just become
We've lost Rachel. We've lost Rachel. Our thanks to our friends, Rachel, Joy, Nicolle, for being with us tonight. We'll get to see each other all next week for the next convention go around.
It'll be weirder. That's the thing. It'll be weirder.
It'll be something.
Yeah, probably. Back to our special 2-hour edition of the 11th hour.